in this time of coronavirus. It's certainly a major crisis, but it also offers us a unique opportunity. A unique opportunity. Now is the time to make the changes we need to build a climate resilient world, but also to build back better.
To build back a better world.
Ineens gebruiken zij allemaal de term Build Back Better. En dat is een uitvloeisel van wat Klaus Schwab van het World Economic Forum de Great Reset noemt.
We need a great reset.
The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Lord God, Because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God.
We are going to become gods. Period. If you don't like it, get off. You don't have to contribute. You don't have to participate. But if you're going to interfere with me becoming God, you're going to have big trouble. And we'll have warfare.
So, I just finished this fascinating book. By the year 2030, there'll be computers that can carry out the same amount of functions as an actual human brain. So, theoretically, you could download your thoughts and memories into this computer and live forever as a machine.
Time is ticking by, and I can feel an explosion inside. And time is ticking by, and I can feel an explosion inside. As in the days of Noah, as in the days of Noah, they'll be drinking, marrying, laughing, as in the days of Noah. What a fool, they say, to build a boat on sand. What a fool, they say. It's never rained before. It's never rained before. It's never rained before. As in the days of Noah.
At this pivotal moment, I see several priorities for the global agenda. We must continue to fight against the global pandemic. We must revitalize the global economy and accelerate its transition to net zero. We must preserve biodiversity by deploying nature-based solutions, and we must narrow the gap between the rich and the poor to achieve more sustainable global development.
Economic Forum takes place in the shadow of an enormously difficult period for economies, for people, and for the planet. According to the UN's economic report released last week, the world is emerging from the depths of a paralyzing economic crisis, but recovery remains fragile and uneven amid the lingering pandemic, persistent labor market challenges, ongoing supply chain disruptions, rising inflation, and looming debt traps, not to mention the geopolitical divide. And as a result, we see recovery slowing down quite substantially. And all of this threatens hard-won progress in advancing the 2030 Agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals, our key projects. The last 2 years have demonstrated a simple but brutal truth. If we leave anyone behind, in the end, we leave everyone behind. If we fail to vaccinate every person, we give rise to new variants that spread across borders and bring daily life and economies to a grinding halt.
There you go, plain as day. He is blaming the spread of new variants on the unvaccinated. They're going to target us in 2022. And they're going to push their Agenda 2030, sustainable development, and the march towards net zero carbon in 2022 as well.
The difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take genetic editing, just as an example, it's you who are changed. And of course this has a big impact on your identity.
Governments have a key role to play. It's the young generation which certainly will drive the future. But governments have to shape the future, the theme of this annual meeting. When I was here last year, I talked about innovation. And many of the things I talked about were considered to be fiction, far away in the future. But ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, the future is already here.
Help you achieve immortality. This is what you call a cortical stack. This cortical stack contains everything that makes you you. Every memory you've ever had, all the emotions you ever felt, all the places you ever seen. This cortical stack stores that information along with your consciousness. And then that is put in the base of the neck of something we call a sleeve. Sleeves are what we produce here at 6etter. We grow these human-made sleeves. They're real bone, tissue, muscle, and organs. And these bodies are in perfect health. No defects, no cancer, no illnesses whatsoever. These are tip-top shape. If you look behind you, these are some examples of sleeves you can choose from. Please come with me to phase 2 so I can show you our 2018 catalog. Welcome to phase 2. Get in close so you can hear me. Don't be shy. Get all in front as well. So in phase 1, you learn about the cortical stack, that small device implanted here in the base of your neck. This is phase 2, the sleeving process. Those two little figures back there. Yep, you seen them? As soon as you came into the booth? Yes, those right there. Those are our sleeves. So they're made of 100% organic material. That means bones, muscles, cartilage, veins. All that is in those sleeves right now because when you jump into those bodies, we want you to be real. We want you to still progress in life. So here's our 2018 lookbook. We have women versions as well as men, and this is just what we have currently in stock right now. For men, we have something a little more muscular and taller, fit, athletic, the gentleman, the nice guy. Anything you want is possible with 6etter, but we just don't stop there. You want him to have longer hair? No facial hair, no body hair. We can make that possible. You want to be him one year, him the next. Everything is possible with 6etter. So in phase 3, you're going to actually touch one of our sleeves. Get in there and touch it and feel him. He currently has no consciousness, so he's not going to move. Okay? Welcome to phase 3.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome to 6etter. All the way up. This is one of our sleeves in storage. Please feel free to get a closer look. You're welcome to take as many photos as you like. If you do post any media, please hashtag 6etter.
Broken ribs on the right side and punctured lung. I need a surgical consult stat. Any drug allergies, Nathan?
No, fine. I really think I'm fine.
When's your birthday?
It's on the brief February.
You're not okay. I should have waited for you.
I should go home.
Sit down, please.
Okay.
His vitals are dropping. We're losing him.
We really want to upload, and I don't want to miss the window.
Is the paperwork all filled out?
No.
Heaven sales rep to the ER.
Can't upload a dead body.
Oh, man.
We gotta get a move on now. Someone's going to heaven?
Horizon Lakeview, please.
I need to start with the Horizon ID.
Yes. Ingrid Kannerman, capital P, Panorama, ampersand, 2002.
I really don't think we need to upload. I'm feeling pretty chill.
Vitals are still going down.
She's wrong.
Maybe don't try and tough this out, okay? Now, you could just old-fashioned die, or we could be together forever. Yeah?
You know, that I think you are so amazing. But
what?
But forever is just like so long to think about.
Okay, so you would rather die than be with me? Is that what you... No. You would rather die than be with me?
Don't cry, please don't cry. There's people around. No, of course I want to be with you.
Hit accept.
What? What the hell am I accepting?
Our terms of service.
I can't just accept you without reading them.
Well, you can't use our service without agreeing to the terms of service. Have you never gotten an app, ever?
What are my chances here?
Unless your system rallies, you're currently dying of a punctured lung. I'm sorry.
This is insane. I'm only 27.
What do you want to do? Uploads that way, OR's the other way.
Hey, just sign the thing, okay?
Don't do it.
There's still sex, right?
Yeah, the VR suits are amazing. You can change your avatar, boost levels, simulation you wouldn't believe.
Super. Okay, where's my mom? I gotta talk to her.
That's disgusting.
Not about that.
Well,
grow up.
Okay, Nathan, please. We are out of time. Just do the right thing and make me the happiest woman.
Oh, fine, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, this is gonna be so great.
And you are too?
It's gonna be great. If not, it's only eternity.
Hello, I'm Abel. I'll be your scanning technician. This won't hurt. So, once the shutters are up to speed, scanner will start recording. I'm jealous, man. Lakeview is plush. This thing.
What's that for?
It's just for storage. Have fun.
Can we just hit the pause button here for a second?
Please look forward at the spot in front of you.
Oh, thank God.
Upload complete.
The future has begun.
And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful.
But remember this first, that many, many, many scoffers will come, and when the rain starts falling, it's too late.
Build back better than before.
Remember the terrible damage of COVID as we try to build back from this global pandemic.
Joe Biden calls it Build Back Better.
Build Back Better.
It's actually part of the main superstructure. It's approximately 35 feet long. It's 11,000 pounds, and it's placed in a very strategic location along the east side of the building. It will be, as the rest of the beams are, one that will support this building in years to come, decades to come. It will be an integral part of the building, as many of the beams are, and it will be very special to us because the president signed it, both governors signed it, the mayor signed it, and even the president's wife.
And when the rain starts falling, it's too late. It's too late. As in the days of Noah, it's never rained before. It's never rained before. It's never rained before. It's never rained before. But one day, 2 days, 3 days gone by, and time is ticking by.
Building back better.
To do things differently. To build back better.
We're going to build it back better.
And build it back better. History meets us now. And governments, as I said at the beginning, are challenged. They have to change.
Here in New Zealand, we have a government that basically now seems to control the mainstream media, funds it and controls it, and it is becoming more and more a totalitarian dictatorship, in my opinion. Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister, as I've pointed out in times past, received a Freemason scholarship to get her through university. She was for several years the president of the International Union for Socialist Youth, basically a communist type organisation. Even while she was in Parliament in New Zealand, she was still the president for some time of that group. She, in 2014, became a World Economic Forum Young Global Leader and is in fact on their website as an example of the 1,400 members and alumni from more than 120 countries that have gone through the Young Global Leaders classes. And that, as I've mentioned before, the names that have gone through Klaus Schwab's Global Leaders School, it reads like a who's who of world leaders, including Bill Gates, Angela Merkel, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Gavin Newsom, and the list goes on and on. But interestingly, of their current crop, their new class from 2021, 112 new young global leaders, we see amongst them Vasudha Vas, the Vice President of Pfizer USA. She's in the 112 of the current crop of young global leaders. As I say, Jacinda Ardern was in the 2014 class. People seriously need to realise that the elite, through people like Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, are in control and driving the agenda that's going on. Politicians are basically puppets that are put under these global elites, and Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand is fulfilling the role she was given and groomed for, and that's how and why she rose to prominence so quickly as a politician and became the Prime Minister of New Zealand, because she was put there by elite, because she'd fulfilled the chosen role. Like, you don't go to the school of young global leaders put on by the World Economic Forum unless you're chosen by them. You can't just join up. They choose you. And she was chosen to go through that school in 2014 and became the Prime Minister of New Zealand shortly after, and it is no coincidence. I've shown in numerous other videos how Klaus Schwab is a transhumanist, the head of the World Economic Forum, its founder, the driver behind the school of young global leaders. He is a transhumanist. He wants to merge humans with machines and genetically modify people.
On the sixth day, God created man. On the seventh day, he rested. And on the eighth day, in the year 2010, in a remote laboratory, an exiled scientist created something impossible. Unmistakably human. Undeniably animal. On the island of Dr. Moreau.
Somewhere in sands of the desert, the shape of the lion body and the head of a man is moving its slow thighs. The darkness drops again. But now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born.
Oh, Meling, that was just beautiful. Thank you so much, Terry Toast. Your help. Thank you. Well, Mr. Douglas, very good of you to join us. Oh, please tell me, is the devil still pursuing you?
Well, perhaps you could explain to me what you mean by the devil. You seem to be on terms with him.
Well, permit me, Mr. Douglas, to tell you something of the devil as I've come to know him. The devil is that element in human nature that impels us to destroy and debase.
And what are you about upon this island but destruction and debasement?
Oh, well, I can tell you very plainly. No, please don't do that. For 17 years, I have been striving to create some measure of refinement in the human species, you see. And it is here, on this very island, that I, sir, have found the very essence of the devil.
What do you mean?
I have seen the devil in my microscope, and I have chained him. And I suppose you could say, in a sense, metaphorically speaking, I've cut him to pieces. The devil, Mr. Douglas, I have found, is nothing more than a tiresome collection of genes. And it is with great assurance that I can tell you that Lucifer, son of the morning, is no more.
Well, I don't see how any of this specious nonsense justifies these monstrous disfigurements.
Well, very simply, they represent a stage in the process of the eradication of destructive elements found in the human psyche. And I've almost achieved perfection, you see, of a divine creature that is pure, harmonious, absolutely incapable of malice. And if in my tinkering I have fallen short of the human form by the odd snout, claw, or hoof, it really is of no great import. I am closer than you could possibly imagine, sir.
He states that very clearly in his book about the Fourth Industrial Revolution and in videos as well. That is his goal. Humans 2.0, genetically modified humans. That's his goal. That is who Jacinda Ardern was mentored in his school.
Parlement européen.
But I want to know why the European Parliament building was deliberately constructed as a modernist version of the Tower of Babel in Peter Bruegel's famous painting. Created in 1563, Bruegel's masterpiece shows Nimrod directing operations with the ziggurat tower ascending behind him. It's shown in the construction phase, and according to the Bible, it was never completed. Why is that? Well, let's turn to Genesis chapter 11. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Babel means confusion, and the European Parliament was deliberately modelled on it. Why is that? Well, some say that the unfinished nature of the building means unfinished business for the European Union. Former Iron Curtain countries certainly came in after it was completed in 1999. There are now 28 members, but even today EU ambitions are unabated, holding talks with Albania, Macedonia, Montenegro, Serbia and Turkey, even agitating inside Ukraine. But I think it's worse than that. Building the Tower of Babel was an act of rebellion against Almighty God. It said man could do it by his own efforts, build a superstate, construct an alternative godless religio-political foundation, reach to some kind of heaven by our own efforts. That is exactly the spirit behind the European Union, and that's why those who built the Parliament building exhibit such nostalgia for the vanity of the Tower of Babel. It leads me to say the United Kingdom should play no part in it. By the way, the infamous Europe Many Tongues One Voice Tower of Babel poster was from the Council of Europe, the guys who run the European Court of Human Rights, also here in Strasbourg, and not from the European Union. But if you say the same spirit is behind both, I shan't argue. The Lord brought confusion and dispersion on those who built the first Tower of Babel. Let us never think the Almighty is not able and willing to do the same to those who have built the second tower.
We need nothing short of a paradigm shift, one that inspires action at revolutionary levels and pace. We simply cannot waste any more time. The only limit is our willingness to act. And the time to act is now.
My plan to build back better.
Start taking all the problems that have been created in education and mental health and start to build back in a positive way.
I have launched a booklet called Build Back Better, written after coronavirus.
It's about building this country back better.
Growing conspiracy following it. It is called the Great Reset.
An unprecedented opportunity to rethink and reset the ways in which we live.
The great opportunity for reset.
And I can feel an explosion inside. People get ready. Jesus is coming. And many, 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 many scoffers will rise in that day and they'll say, it's never rained before. It's never rained before.
Skipping down a bit. The Rockefeller Foundation and the Rothschilds, in the person of Lindy Rothschild's Council for Inclusive Capitalism with the Vatican, are moving to create the next generation in their pursuit of global domination. It's being called the Great Reset. It requires global government, a plank significantly endorsed by Jesuit Pope Francis. Its PR man, Klaus Schwab, is a self-admitted protege of Rockefeller insider Henry Kissinger from their days 50 years ago at Harvard. In May 2020, the coronavirus had caused global panic lockdowns far beyond the initial outbreak in Wuhan. The British Crown Prince Charles, together with the World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab, unveiled what they gleefully named the Great Reset. Increasingly, world political and business leaders are using terms such as the Great Reset or the Fourth Industrial Revolution and the call to build back better, which the Biden administration prefers. They are all anchored on the same set of dramatic global changes. The US Green New Deal and the European Union Green Deal are all part of it. The most striking fact about the agenda of the Great Reset is that it is being advanced by the same giga-rich plutocrat families responsible for the flaws of the present world economic model. They, not we, have created ruin of organic fields and nature with their Roundup, glyphosate and toxic pesticides. They've ruined the air quality in our cities by the transportation models they force on us. They created the free market model of globalization that has ruined the industrial base of the United States and the EU nations. Now, as they blame us for an alleged catastrophic emission of CO2, we are being conditioned to accept guilt and be punished in order to save the next generation. For Greta and her friends.
This from Biblia Todo News. Climate activist Greta Thunberg proclaimed successor of Christ by the Church of Sweden. September 28, 2019, the Church of Sweden believes that climate activist Greta Thunberg is the successor of Christ. Of this time, due to her defense to the environment, the Church of Sweden, with Lutheran roots, affirmed through the social media, Twitter, that Thunberg and her discourse is the most similar image of Christ nowadays.
I will show you on the Georgia Guidestones exactly where you can find the adversary. So the first commandment on the Georgia Guidestones is to maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. And nature is not a, well, there's the adversary right there. That's why Freemasons can tell you their secrets in books, because they don't think you understand them in the first place, so they're not afraid to tell you what their secrets are. But if you know who they're talking about, then there's a problem for them.
For beauty is eternal, and we bow to beauty everlasting. For lasting happiness, return to one alone, and she surrounds you now. Great nature, refuge of the weary heart, and only balm for breasts that have been bruised. She hath cool hands for every favorite brow, and gentlest silence for the troubled soul. The counsels are most wise. She healeth well, having such ministries as calm and sleep. She is ever faithful. Other friends may fail, but seek ye her in any quiet place. Smiling, she will rise and give to you her kiss. So must ye come as children. Little children that believe nor ever doubt her beauty and her faith, nor deem her tenderness can change or die.
Number 10. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. 2 times. They said it 2 times. And when you say something 2 times, you say it to establish it. So the first commandment they have, keep the humanity, the population of humanity in perpetual balance with nature. Number 10, leave room for nature. That is their deity that they worship.
CDO2 data intact. Initiating playback.
Elizabeth Sobek. You've heard the bad news, and it's all true. The Pharaoh plague is devouring the biosphere. Life itself will cease to exist.
But does that have to be the end? What if we could give life a future? What if we could build a kind of seed from which, on a dead planet, life could blossom anew? This is the aim, the hope, of Project Zero Dawn. To create a super intelligent, fully automated terraforming system and bring life back from lifelessness. What would such a system require? At its core, it would need a true AI, fully capable of making the trillions of decisions necessary to reconstitute the biosphere. An immortal guardian, devoted to the reflourishing of life. We call it Gaia. Mother Nature as an AI. But that's just the core of the system. She will need to be surrounded and empowered by a comprehensive suite of subordinate functions. Think of them as extensions of Gaia's mind, each dedicated to a specific purpose. Now, these aren't AIs, but make no mistake, each presents an engineering challenge more profound than anything the human species has ever before attempted. Hardware that preserves and then gestates the billions of seeds and embryos from which life will be reborn. The construction of underground facilities to hold it all. And that's just the start. We don't have to build the entire system. The beauty of a fully automated terraforming system is that it can build itself. Now, over the days to come, you'll learn how all these functions, all these pieces that you'll be working on, fit together. How we'll race the clock to execute our harvest initiatives, write the software, build the tech and the facilities. How we'll lock it down and seal it up before the inevitable occurs. But even more important, you'll know how it doesn't end here. How Gaia will generate those deactivation codes General Harris talked about, and build the transmission arrays to broadcast them, shutting down the Pharaoh robots for good. How Gaia will not just build, but imagine any conceivable robot it needs to do its work across centuries. From detoxifying the Earth's ravaged atmosphere and poisoned seas, to the regreening of the Earth from cryo to rewilding the Earth with animal life. And then, when all that is done, how a new generation of human beings, spawned at cradle facilities around the globe, will partake of Apollo, the vast archive of human knowledge and cultural achievement from which they will learn of us, our world, and most important, how not to repeat our mistakes. It's not an impossible dream. It is within our grasp if we work tirelessly and stop at nothing to achieve it. We can't stop life from ending. But if you will help me, help Gaia, we can give it a future. Join me and help make that future real.
Few people could argue that the Rothschild family is one of the richest and most powerful families in the world. Some people believe that Evelyn de Rothschild is the current head of the Illuminati, and his wife Lynn Forrester de Rothschild is a founding and managing partner of Inclusive Capital Partners. Here is what she has to say on their website. I had been working on these issues and convening conversations since 2012 because I believe that politics and capitalism needs to return to a basic sense of decency. By June of 2015, Laudato Si was written by Pope Francis. By September, the Sustainable Development Goals were agreed to by the United Nations. By December, the Paris Climate Accord had been signed. You had every reason to believe there was a greater sense of the common good. That is why I reached out to the Holy Father, because I think that a lot of what it will take to change behaviour is a moral and ethical reawakening. It's not just policy, it's not just taxes, it's not just reforming the labour laws, all of which are important, but at the core of it, it has to come from common decency. These people are the drivers behind the Great Reset, of which Klaus Schwab is the face. And I want to now play you clip, which is the promo video of inclusive capitalism, and you will see how, well, many important, powerful people are behind this movement. And you can be sure that the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and these other powerful and rich elites are not going to give up their wealth or their power whilst they level the rest of us into this new system, which is basically a socialist system with the oligarchs above it.
È necessario urgente un sistema economico giusto, affidabile e in grado di rispondere alle sfide più radicali che l'umanità e il pianeta si trovano ad affrontare.
We are answering Pope Francis's challenge to create more inclusive economies that spread the benefits of capitalism more equitably and allow individuals to realize their full potential.
A majority of people around the world say that they think their families will be worse off in 5 years. That's a scenario that we simply can't accept.
Too much wealth has accreted to too few people.
If you make money, what's the point if you're not prepared to share it? If the people who help make that wealth for you can't live with dignity.
It's inclusive capitalism, though, and we have to recognize that starting from where we are to where we need to get to, we need to bring everyone along, and there will be adjustments that come with that.
We do need the private sector's ingenuity, capital, technology, people, everything, their passion to come to the party.
We want to operate in a sustainable way, where incentives are aligned across generations, not just across quarters, and the main actors take a long-term perspective.
Aligning our innovation with the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the priorities of inclusive capitalism is both a business and sustainability imperative.
Two reasons, I think, why I'd say concrete commitments to inclusive capitalism matter. I mean, the first, and not to be underestimated, really important, is they can inspire other people. And the second thing that I would say around concrete public commitments is they can help build trust.
Leaders in the business community can be a unifying force. They can be a source of opportunity. They can be a source of understanding. So we as business leaders can step up and solve many of these economic problems.
I think business plays a very important role in resolving these challenges. I think businesses have to become, part of the solution through leadership by example and through leadership by incentives.
We are stewards of this earth. It's our duty to keep it clean and to keep it decent for future generations.
I'm wanting to embark on this journey to provide the guidance and the assistance of the church's own social thought and whatever other consideration might be necessary, whether ethical or just social guidance, so that this group that has taking up such a noble task of making capitalism work for the good of humanity, achieve its goal, and land on target. So this is our vision, this is our purpose.
Look, the fact that different religions need to come together on all matters is just the crying need of the times in our world. Faith cannot be used to pull us apart. Faith is meant to bring us together. And the fact that I'm a Sikh and somebody else is a different religion, to me doesn't matter.
Our work is indeed about social justice, which is rooted in the gospel. The idea that every person deserves to live in a just society.
Capitalism is at the heart of innovation that creates higher standard of living. And we know that it's been working, yet we also know we can do a lot better.
We need a new system focused on the well-being of people. It's a big challenge, but if it is done right, the benefits will be immense.
It's not just an asset owner, it's not just an asset manager, it's not just a CEO, it's not just these boards of directors. We have to work collectively over the long term.
What I think capitalism has to stand for to be inclusive capitalism, how we help everybody have equal access to the opportunity, have the economic mobility.
The Council is a terrific body in which we can assemble a critical mass of companies to join and commit to concrete actions that not only affect and improve the communities in which we live, but affect the world community of which we're all a part of.
We believe we need more than 1,000 organizations on board, and only with this very purposeful collective action, we will see the systemic change across markets that will make capitalism truly inclusive.
We invite all businesses, large and small, and individuals to join us as stewards for inclusive capitalism by going to our website, agreeing the principles, and making your own commitments to inclusive capitalism. Please join us. Thank you.
Imagine a world where the richer you are, the less you own. A world where a fancy car, a large house, and expensive clothes cease to be a status symbol and become a burden, while experiences replace belongings as what we cherish the most. Is it possible to own nothing but have everything? In the past, if your house was on fire and everyone was safe, what was the one thing you would want to save? Photo albums, right? Today, most of us have our photos safe and sound in the cloud. Our music, books, movies, all turned from physical objects to digital services. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Every year, I own less of what I use. I remember my 17th birthday. I was so excited to finally get my driver's license. It was a big deal to drive a car, not to mention buy one. Compare prices, research fuel efficiency, deliberate about the color and design. Once having a car, you would need to insure it, fix it now and then, remember to fuel it, spend long hours searching for parking. Oh yeah, and wash it from time to time. After all that, why would you even want to own a car when what you really need is to get from point A to B? Today, I can summon a car anytime, anywhere. It appears within minutes, takes me wherever I need to go, and then disappears, like magic. In many ways, that is a better arrangement than having to own a car. What used to be a car is transforming into a riding service. Someday soon, personal cars may be banned in cities, replaced with an autonomous vehicle service. As a technology product designer, I've started to notice this shift from physical products to digital services. I believe that as objects become smarter, infused with bits of intelligence and technology, they will transform into services, swapped, shared, used in the same social way we swap digital media. Will our houses become services too? In the past, newlyweds would go ahead and buy a house, secure a mortgage, compare real estate, buy a ton of furniture, and spend long hours on upkeep and renovation once in a while. Why make all these commitments? Life is full of surprises, especially these days. Over the past few years, I have lived and traveled to more than 30 countries across 5 continents. With a supercomputer in my pocket and widespread connectivity, I don't need an office. I can work from anywhere. Travel has become a way of living, serving as fertile ground for a new generation of nomads. And that's when owning stuff really becomes a burden. Services are more important than ever. We've all experienced at some point the joys of service. Gyms, barbershops, restaurants, cleaning services. Whatever it was for you, I bet that among other things, this gave you a little more freedom, a little more time, and peace of mind. Then why stop there? Imagine a world where all the physical products around us transform into digital services. How would life look like with no belongings, no commodities, no wallet, no assets or property? A world where the only things you can buy are services and experiences. Let me take you to a day in a life in this kind of future. I live in a complex, a place with everything I need to live, work, and play. Like a lot of my friends, I prefer the co-living housing because of the round-the-clock services they offer. Once in a while, I might choose to cook for myself. I subscribe to a food service that sends me fresh ingredients from a farmer nearby, carefully selected based on my culinary preferences. I'm thinking about upgrading to the premium organic service everybody's talking about, cooked by a famous robot chef. I subscribe to most of my clothes. Every morning, they arrive at my window port with a drone. I can wear something different each day of the year if I want. At the end of the day, I'll drop them to be picked up by the drone. I 3D print my jewelry. Actually, this is something I already do. If I have a special occasion, I might 3D print a dress designed especially for me and custom shoes based on a scan of my feet. Once the event is over, I'll simply drop them in the recycling bin. The material will be recycled into its original state. My apartment has no closets, no washing machine or dishwasher. I don't need to worry about mortgage, maintenance, or even renovation once in a while, because furniture and decor became services too. Once we have kids, we'll probably subscribe to a baby equipment and toy service. Every couple weeks, the toys will be swapped and we will receive fresh ones, sterilized, of course, based on my kids' age and preferences. My home will transform as my needs change, when I move from city to city, or as my family expands. I can stay for a year, for a month, or even just a few days. When I travel, I don't need to pack anything. The things I normally use will be waiting for me wherever I land. This new world might raise some concerns, such as, how will it feel like not owning anything at all? Will that make me homeless? Will we lose the emotional connections we have with objects today? Questions about friendship and relationships. What will our social life look like? How will we raise our kids? And what will it feel like growing old? On the other hand, maybe this is actually an opportunity to redesign our crowded cities, replacing parking lots and large isolated housing with green parks and shared communal spaces. Freeing up time to pick up a new hobby or spend it with loved ones instead of wasting it on chores. Maybe this is an opportunity to update our 1,000-year-old education system. Imagine education being personalized to the way each and every one of us learns best. And why commit to one specific school and location? A classroom might become an ongoing field trip with kids from all over the world. They'll probably learn much more than I'll ever know. How will we stay in touch if we're moving around all the time? Maybe we'll hang out using a mixed reality service. Soon, we will all have genie superpowers. Things will be there exactly when we need them, and gone when we don't. They will be accessible, affordable, and shareable, providing higher quality and personalized experiences tailored especially for me. So when you go home and you walk through your front door, take a second and ask yourself, could I own a little less? Would that give me a little more freedom, a little more time, and peace of mind? Some may ask whether I might feel untethered by not owning anything at all. I tell them I feel the opposite. I feel a deep connection to our ancestors, like a primeval nomad who owns nothing, curious, adaptive, ready to hit the road and explore the unknown, making room for collecting experiences rather than things.
Would you like to ski if you're talking, but you're snowed under with work? Do you dream of a vacation at the bottom of the ocean, but you can't float the bill? Have you always wanted to climb the mountains of Mars, but now you're over the hill? Then come to Recall Incorporated, where you can buy the memory of your ideal vacation cheaper, safer, and better than the real thing. So don't let life pass you by. Call Recall for the memory of a lifetime.
For the memory of a lifetime, recall, recall, recall.
Own less, but have much more.
Let me tell you why this fourth industrial revolution is so crucial, so overwhelming in terms of the changes it will bring to us. It changes not only what we are doing, it changes us, because it's a fusion of our physical, digital, and biological spheres. It's an integration of those spheres. Just think of sensors planted into our brains. The opportunities are immense, and we have to prepare ourselves already now.
As in the days of Noah, so it will be in the coming of the Son of Man.
The theory even calls Mr. Biden's campaign slogan, Build Back Better, a front for the conspiracy.
Build back better. Building back better our economy.
Build back better.
All elements of the Great Reset are fundamental to building the future we need.
This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset.
And what a fool they say to fast and pray. And what a fool they say, come on, it's been 2,000 years. Do you really think that he's coming? Come on, let's just get real. But remember this first, that many, many, many scoffers will come. And when the rain starts falling, it's too late. It's too late. And when the rain starts falling, it's too late. It's too late. As in the days of Noah, it's never rained before. It's never rained before. It's never rained before. It's never rained before. But one day, 2 days, 3 days gone by, and time is ticking by, and I can feel an explosion inside. People get ready. Jesus is coming.
It's a big effort to, some would say, to build back better. We would say to really have a great reset.
Conspiracy.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
the name of the Lord, they will surely trust in Him. For the Lord never will forsake the one who is honestly, oh Lord, and seeking Him. Everybody on, seek Jesus in the morning, seek Jesus in the noonday hour, seek Jesus in the evening, before the sun is going down. He said, "Knock, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and the door will be open to you, and He will come on in and sup with you a while." Yes, it is. Without faith it is impossible to please the Lord. We must first believe that He exists and He rewards every one of us. Those who know the name of the Lord, they will surely trust in Him. For the Lord never will forsake the one who is honestly seeking Him. Hallelujah. Everybody ought to seek Jesus in the morning, seek Jesus in the noonday hour, seek Jesus in the evening, before the sun is going down. He said, "Knock, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and the door will be open to you, and He will come on in and sup with you a while." Everybody on, seek Jesus in the morning, seek Jesus in the noonday hour, seek Jesus in the evening, before the sun is going down. He said, "Knock, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and the door will be open to you, and He will come on in and sup with you a while." Hallelujah. Yes, He will. He'll come in. He'll come in. If you're seeking, He'll come in. If you're seeking, He'll come in. Bless your name, Jesus. Bless your name, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord.